thinning. Well, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about something that you may not have given enough attention to, and it has nothing to do with hair products. And what I want to talk about that could be contributing to your gray hair dryness and thinning, or even hair loss, is your hormones. And the reason why this came to my attention, it's not that I didn't know it at all. I don't think there's no attention on it, but I think that at times on our gray hair journey, we can focus more on the products we're using or technique and not give enough attention to our hormone health. How's our hormone balance doing? And so, what made me look into this is the fact that last year I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And this past year, when I got my blood results in, my A1C is not where it needs to be. So, metabolically, I'm also 42. And even though I did get my hormone levels checked, they said it wasn't technically in perimenopause, but I am experiencing enough symptoms to know that something is going on, and it's affecting not just hair. Those things can affect your skin, a whole load of things, but we're going to be just specifically focusing on how it affects your gray hair, especially gray natural hair. This is not to say that those who don't have coils like we do don't experience dryness with their gray hair. But another factor with us is with natural hair in general, whether it's gray or not, it tends to be on the drier side, or tends to be more prone to dryness than other hair textures. And that is because of the structure of the hair and the fact that it takes, longer for that oils from our scalp to be able to give our hair what it needs. And so, hi there, Sheila. Hugs back at you. And I want to make a disclaimer that I am not a healthcare professional. I'm not a hair care professional in the sense that I, went to cosmetology. I am sharing my journey with you guys as far as it goes to health. Sheila, by the way, let me know if you can hear me okay. And then my mic is working good. I appreciate it. So I'm just sharing with you information that I found along the way. I am working on a blog post where I can link these articles that I found. And it really is true that there is power in knowledge. Because I feel like sometimes on the gray hair journey, many can be really hard on themselves. Not so much Sheila. Sheila has always, as long as I've been on YouTube and known her, has a positive view of things, and that has helped her on her gray hair journey. Thank you so much, Sheila. So, a part of the gray hair experience or your gray hair journey being doable is being able to have those reasonable expectations about what your hair can do now. And hi there, Paula. And realizing that your gray hair is also going to change throughout time. Sheila or Paula, let me know if you found from the first time that you saw gray hair or you started graying, if you notice a difference in its behavior or anything like that, and anyone else who's watching as well. It has been now, I stopped dyeing my hair in 2017, so I am now, it's 6 years. I just passed 6 years in May. And my hair, the biggest change that I notice with my hair is that it is a lot whiter. And I love it. Everyone, you'll also find everyone's gray hair pattern is unique. So, Linda, you said that you found a change in your hair. I can't say I am on medication for my Hashimoto's. That is something that you also have to consider when it comes to the texture of your hair, the it being it thinning or not, as well as dryness. And so I am taking levothyroxine. I can't say that I've seen a huge change in my hair since I started taking it. That's just my experience. I don't know if I continue to take it longer, if that'll affect it. Sheila, you said your texture and coloring continues to change. Yes. I will change that actually and say not only has my hair color changed, but similar to Sheila, my texture has changed. The whiter hair definitely is a different texture than the grayer hair. And so I have a lot more darker or melanated hair in the back. But this front area is where that white crown comes in. Now I'm due to wash my hair, but it's not looking too bad. But I was very surprised to learn how much estrogen affects our hair. Estrogen affects dryness with our hair. So, estrogen can affect the sebum production, our scalp being able to produce enough oil to be able to lubricate our hair strands. And then you add in the fact that, if your hair texture is natural, so that's like, two things that you have working against you when it comes to, your gray hair being dry. I have my notes here. Gray hair, now, the articles that I read compared how our hormones affect our hair to pregnancy. So let me know in the comments how many of you are moms, and understanding, remembering when you were pregnant, if your hair was like growing thick and thriving. I went natural in 2011, and it wasn't until 2015 when I was pregnant with my son that I found that my hair was the thickest it had ever been. I was like, oh my goodness. I was also taking prenatal vitamins too, but my hair, it was amazing. Let me see what Sharon said. You're also taking meds for Hashimoto's. It's changed the density. It's softer and thinner. Thank you for sharing that, Sharon. And that's a good point that you said about softness. I think in general, because my hair is fine, my hair tends to be really soft. But I have been noticing that too, that it's softer. And I think for some that can be very frustrating because they want more of a texture. Some of you, let me know if that's you in the comments, have found that, especially with the whiter hair, it's more fuzzy, right? And this was something else that I looked up, that estrogen can affect the sturdiness of our hair follicle, and that can cause a little bit more frizziness or misbehavior. So we have in general on other videos that I've done, letting you guys know, just in general with gray hair and the loss of melanin as well, that can affect your hair's ability to keep its texture. So that's why, especially with the whiter hair, I find that it's a lot more, it definitely is more porous for me personally. And if you have a mixture, then you'll probably find that different parts of your hair need different things. But really keeping that, because a lot of my viewers are in that perimenopause or menopause, postmenopause phase of their life. And so, they come to me telling me about dealing with dryness with their gray hair. And like I said, it's not to say if you get a really good product for your gray hair that you can't find some good results. But I think, let me know if you guys agree, we don't give enough attention to the internal. It's not just the products you put on your hair, but what's going on inside. So someone can look at me and say, "Oh my goodness, what do you do to your hair?" And I want to be able to say, before you compare your gray hair to someone else's, keep in mind a lot of factors. Keep in mind a person's age, their genetics, that also affects what texture that we particularly have. Keep in mind one's health. Is that person on medication? What's that person's diet? What's their activity? Are they dealing with illnesses? So all those different things can affect the quality of our hair. And also, so back to what I was saying, how when you're pregnant and your hair is just like thriving and thick and amazing, and right after you have your child, a lot of people talk about that, the postpartum shedding, that one experiences, and that's because of the drop of those hormones. And then you go from like fab to so understanding how much estrogen has an effect on even the thickness and fullness of our hair. So if you're, I cannot speak with much experience on the postmenopausal part or even the menopause yet, but I know from just the different things that I've looked up, if you're at that stage, your hormone levels are a lot different than when you were in your 30s, your 20s, and even your 40s. So you have to keep that in mind so that it can help you to have realistic expectations. Because I really think on the gray hair journey, that's one of the things that can help you to have compassion and have grace on this gray hair journey. Having patience as you get to understand your hair, being willing to the fact that it will change. Even the length of your hair. I want to know how many of you guys like, what do you, is your hair short, medium, long? Because I think that's another thing that has affected the success for me personally with my gray hair. Keeping it short, it looks fuller. I have been toying around with seeing if I'm going to get my gray hair straightened. I haven't had my hair straightened in at least 6 years. I don't think I've had it straightened since I've been gray, like professionally. I think I tried to do it one time with a blow dryer, and my hair was straight, but it's not the same. Like, I haven't had a silk press. Sheila, if you're still on here, I would love to know if you ever got your hair straightened. Hi there. Naturally Platinum, good to see you. You said your hair is all three depending on the day. I hear that. So, like, just having that, allowing space for the fact that not only is our gray hair going through a change, but we ourselves personally are going through a change when it comes to our hormones, our health. Stress can also affect our hair. Where did I write down here? Yeah. Hi there, Angie. Yeah, stress can affect your hair as well. We know that that can affect it when it comes to breakage and even thinning. And so, and that, another hormone, cortisol, where are your cortisol levels at? That's actually something that I'm going to be asking my doctor about, to see if I'm not in adrenal fatigue because, when you're in a constant state of stress, and then also the thyroid itself, when you get into that autoimmune part of the thyroid, where it's attacking itself, all those things have an effect on our body. Kay, you said your hair is shoulder length. You get a professional press once a year. Nice. And are you gray as well, Kay? And do you find what are the differences you find when you get it pressed? Like, does it last? My mom recently got her hair professionally pressed a couple of weeks ago, and it looked amazing. But it's funny how her hair was also very thin, as opposed to when her hair, she just wears it natural. But it stayed really well, even in this summertime heat. But I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have for a couple more minutes. But I just wanted to make sure. I was just doing research, and I was just sitting here like, you know what? We say that we know hormones, can affect things, or we know we're going through stuff, but we don't give it enough credit to how it affects everything. I did not know how estrogen affects dryness with the hair, and understanding that also when people are dealing with lowering estrogen, then or lowering female hormones, then the male hormones, or androgens, they're called, can increase, and that is what causes hair in in other areas during that time. Susan, I was thinking about dyeing my gray hair all over. It's short, but the salt and pepper just looks scraggly. Wearing natural has really thinned on the top. Thank you for sharing that, Susan. I'm sorry that you're dealing with the thinning. That I don't I'm noticing in my scalp. I'm also going to be making an appointment with my dermatologist to find out how my scalp is doing, because one thing is true too: when you have natural hair, it could be so much volume that sometimes you don't know what's going on in your scalp, and that can affect, like, maybe the startings of alopecia. Let me see what Sheila said. No, not yet. You haven't straightened it since 2005. You did a roller set and your hair is hip length. Wow. That's amazing. And Kay, you said yes, completely for 3 years. You've been gray. You're in Florida, so don't try to press until winter. I hear that. And that's another thing too, right? If you live in Arizona compared to living in Florida, or living in the East compared to living in the South, all those things can affect your hair as well. When it comes to, like, say you have more white hair, in the summertime, my hair behaves a little bit differently than it does in the winter too. So you have to, like, be willing to say, what do you need? Just like with anything else, like, what does my hair need? And be willing to see that. You can't say, oh, my hair wasn't like this when I first went gray. It changes. It changes. Naturally platinum, you're always cutting it. Oh my gosh. But you know what? I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it because I have found every time I think I'm gonna grow my gray hair out, just this as it is a lot for me to deal with. So okay, Angie, you have locks. So how is your lock journey? Are you gray as well, Angie? Because another thing I've been seeing a lot, not just with gray hair, but I've been seeing a lot of women who are just done with having loose natural hair and they're locking their hair for more simplicity. So I don't have much experience in that way. There are some that I know who are gray and have locks. One of them has a YouTube channel, and she actually lives abroad. I have to find the name of her channel again, and I'll link it if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, that even when it's so whether your hair is locked, whether your hair is loose, I find that the complaint is very similar when it comes to dryness with gray hair. So, if you're at a certain age or you're dealing with certain hormonal issues, and that's why I said hormonal issues because you could have that at any age, but definitely if you're at that age that we're going to be experiencing a ramping down of our cycle, we have to really see how that ties into how our hair behaves. Your daughter has locks too, Sheila? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Leanne. But yeah, it's to me, I thought that was very eye opening because I feel like a lot of times you think, well, I tried this product or I did this thing and my hair is still dry. And I think understanding what our special needs are of our gray hair can just help us to work on a routine that will work better for our hair. It may mean that maybe when you had more melanated hair, you didn't have to moisturize as much or maybe shampoo as much. But now you might find that your wash days, I mean, my wash days don't go on dryness, unfortunately. They go on my energy level. So, like, even right now, I don't even know what week I'm on with my hair. And I find that the longer I go with my gray hair, it doesn't help tangles, but my hair looks so full. Like, when I first wash my hair, it's not going to look this full. But for weeks on weeks, I'm able to, and I pretty much moisturize it every day with I'm going to be doing more product videos for you guys too. My staple products, not experiment products. Because another thing I've realized, and I'm sure you guys would agree, as you get older or the different season in life that you're in, it's like simplicity really is key. And I've heard that from a lot of you too. Like, I want to keep it simple. I'm not trying to try all these different things. So I'll be sharing what works for me. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what you have to do, but I am seeing I've been on YouTube enough to try a whole lot of stuff, and I'm just trying to stick with the things that I know are tried and true. And one of the things I use is As I Am, it's like a hair refresher for my hair. Mix that with distilled water because minerals in the water can also affect the texture or, moisture of your hair. Let me see. Sheila said, yes, my daughter is graying with turquoise tips. Look at that. So, yeah, all those different things can affect your gray hair as far as dryness is concerned. So, for those of you who have found something that really helps you to work on this dryness, please let us know in the comments. This is a beautiful Silver Sister community. People can share. But it just helps you to see that you're not alone if you're dealing with dryness. It's not necessarily something you're doing wrong. There are tweaks that we can do, and don't always focus on products. It's not always about products. It can be about your hair telling you something's going on the inside. And also diet. Like, we know water. That doesn't mean if you drink a whole bunch of water, your hair is just going to be so amazingly moisturized, but it does help. And then also our diet, like the good fats in our diet, can also help with what we're lacking with the oil production in our scalp. So definitely keep all those things in mind when it comes to your gray hair. Let me know if this was something that I don't think it was like groundbreaking or ground shaking, but I think sometimes a lot of one of the most popular questions I get is, what do you use in your hair? How do you get your hair to do that? And I feel like it's so easy to look at someone else and think, why doesn't your hair look like that? But if you are a lot older than I am and your hormones are at a different place, or you're on a lot more medications than I am, or, there's a lot of different factors that can affect the performance of your hair. And I don't know if it's the same for you guys. I'm not saying I don't want my hair to look good, but as I'm getting older and I'm dealing with these health challenges, I'm just too tired to be worrying about my hair. And I think I noticed that a lot, even just on YouTube in general, with a lot of people which is another reason why people are focusing on simplicity. I remember there's another person who has a YouTube channel. She just started her lock journey. So if there are any of you who are going gray, my brain fog right now is making me forget her name, but I'm going to include her as well if you want some guidance or just seeing someone's journey on that. It was really nice to see. Angie, you use Jamaican black castor oil whenever you wash, okay, which is once a month. So, Angie, you said you have locks. So then how do you use you just put that on your hair and like before you wash, kind of like a pre-poo? And naturally platinum, you said the same as Sheila, scalp massage. That is true. That helps to stimulate the hair growth. And also, another thing that you will be surprised that really can help our scalp health is circulation. So, exercise. I was going to say the inversion method, but depending on where your health is at, like, proceed with caution with that to see if that would be like, if you have high blood pressure or different things like that, don't go giving yourself. But like, even when I do my hair, I'll just bend over and like shake it sometimes so that I could get my hair to stand up. But just we're upright most of the time. So the top of our head doesn't get as much blood flow as the rest of our head. So scalp massage definitely could be able to help in those areas, as well as I don't know if you guys know about rebounding or like, trampoline. And I'm not talking about like my son uses it, my feet don't come off, but just like a nice health bounce that can help your lymphatic system and help with circulation. And then also, what else was I going to say? Walking, different things like that, the sweating and all those things we do with exercise. Those are the things, like I said, that we know are important to our health overall, but sometimes we miss that piece when it comes to hair health. We can kind of get so closed in on products and how do I do this and that, when if you continue to take care of your health and also stress. So I also have different videos. I told you guys I've been getting into art to be able to help with my stress relief, or as something I do to help keep back state. I will admit that I had went away to go visit family in May, and when I came back, my son and I got sick, and I felt like that threw me off, and so I haven't been engaging in it recently, but I'm trying to get back up. Angie, you said after you wash your hair when it's dry. Okay, so you wash your hair and then you put the Jamaican black castor oil, which is also really good for growth as well. I remember putting some on my edges. And that has been another interesting thing. And this could just be in general because I'm probably doing less manipulation with my hair. But my edges have been the most full, that like even more than when my hair was melanated. And I think it's because of this hairstyle. Now, if I go to the barber and he brings it down a little bit, you will see that is one drawback. If my hair was darker, like it'll look spotty sometimes. But yeah, this definitely works for me. So I'm going to end this live, guys. If you don't have any other questions, thank you so much to those of you who joined me. There are many of you haven't interacted with in a long time, so thanks for the support as always. I appreciate you. And please, as I always mention, I've never been in more of a season of change than I have now, where just so many things are going on with my health, and I have to deal with it, especially with the A1C and my thyroid. And I'm trying to do things at a pace that's reasonable. And I'm finding even as I do that, that helps with my skin. Because that's another thing that I feel is like interconnected. My skin was breaking out a lot recently in this area. You probably see some post, like post hyperpigmentation. And recently, do I have it here? I don't. Oh, yes, I do. I got something off of Amazon that I was like, I usually get a little nervous when it comes to skincare products because I'm like, my skin is so sensitive. I found that that's been happening a lot in my 40s lately. Hold on one second. Kay, does Jamaican black castor oil discolor your silver hair? Great question. Love to hear your answer, Angie. Thank you, Sheila. Yes, self love one day at a time, and realizing that self love is not just about doing art or things that feel good. It's also about me disciplining myself to do the things that my body needs, and realizing that I took my health for granted. When you are younger, if you get a little bit off track, it's not you could kind of wing it a little bit, but when you get into your 40s, the threshold gets a little bit small. Like, you have to take things seriously. So, okay, Sheila's August. Angie said no. I'm guessing you're saying no, there was no discoloration. And you have a great day too, Angie. So, just real quick, I wanted to show you guys, if there are any of you who deal with seborrheic dermatitis, I don't have necessarily flaking of the skin, but I have, my skin gets very raised and itchy. Itchy, itchy, itchy. So, I found this on Amazon. It's called Dermoscribe, and it has sulfur in it. It has 3% sulfur, it has salicylic acid 3%, and hydrocortisone. This this is something I usually use. This feels amazing. It feels so cool when I put it on my skin, but I found it wasn't working after a while. Like, my face, like, I literally wanted to just keep scratching. If you guys have any suggestions on that as well, please put it in the comments. But this, it does give you a little bit of a white film. Like, I don't necessarily put it on during the day, I put it on at night, but it has cleared up my skin. You can't really tell how different it is because you didn't see it before, but this this is my baby. Sheila, that's right. Clear castor oil might be helpful too, to deal with, to avoid the coloring, yellowing situation that could happen. And even when it comes to that, y'all, I have learned, like, if you find Jamaican black castor oil helps your hair, but you don't want to deal with the yellowing, sometimes you just deal with the yellowing. Sometimes I've dealt with things because I know that something else is really helpful for me. And I also have told you guys before, if you're dealing with a little discontent with your hair shade, like you want it whiter or a little bit brighter, I've been able to hack that by using temporary hair wax in silver or white color. And I have a couple of videos on that on my channel that you can check out. And so if my hair is feeling a little bit dull or I want to give it a little pep, I'll put that in my hair, and it's temporary. So that's something that, if you guys deal with that, that you can check out. But thank you again so much for your support. Susan, you use aloe vera gel on your skin. It gets really dry, but it works well. Thank you for that. I agree. It also helps with when I need to shave, when I'm taking care of the androgens, hair growth on my chin. Right after, I'll put some aloe vera, and then I put this on top to be able to help. The main thing this helps me with is the itching, and I feel like it brings the inflammation down so that I was able to heal these. It's a lot lighter than it was before. So, all right, guys, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to giving you another video letting you know one of the first products that I use on my wash day for gray hair, as well as some art videos coming up as well. So please take care. As Sheila said, self-love one day at a time. Be patient with yourself. Change takes time to get used to, and also having realistic expectations when it comes to your gray hair can really help you to not be so frustrated with it, and realizing that, not necessarily there isn't anything you could do about it, but just temper your expectations for your gray hair. You could still look amazing. All right. Thanks again, guys.